Hey guys, welcome to my first ever Q&A. I wanted to do something fun and a little different as a thank you for reaching 1,000 subscribers, and y'all voted for a Q&A and submitted some amazing questions, so let's jump straight into it. Okay, disclaimer, I have my questions written on my notebook not because I am posh and sophisticated, but because I film on my phone so I can't also read from it. So that's why. Alright, first question. What made you decide to play/choose violin? I think when you find your instrument, you're just gonna know. You're gonna feel it and it'll click. When I hear a violin, it captures every single part of my attention. It completely draws me in more than any other instrument. And I know a lot of people have problems with the violin because it's difficult, you have to pay such extreme attention to your posture, and there's so many techniques, and in a lot of cases it's just frankly painful. But every single reason why it's difficult is also every single reason why it's beautiful, I think, because all of those ridiculous posture details and technique things that you have to look out for, those are all opportunities for you to make the sound your own, for you to tell whatever story that you want to tell, and you can put in however many details you want, and you can make it so highly personalized. And I love everything about it. It has just such a breadth of sound. When I hear a violin, it sounds like it's singing stories into life, and I love everything about it. How long does it take to get used to violin? However long you're willing to give it. So I like to think about my violin as my best friend. So when you first meet your best friend, you go up and you introduce yourself to them, you're not instantly best friends and know each other's life story, right? You have to hang out with them, you have to spend time, you have to, spend the night, go get coffee, you have to hang out with that person. And the more you hang out with them, the more time that you spend with them, the closer that you're going to get. It's the exact same thing with violin. The more time that you hang out with it and spend time with it, the closer that you will get and the faster you will become best friends. Now that is going to vary a little bit from person to person. Just with personal experience, I've seen some of my students, it's like I don't even have to teach them how to hold it. They just instantly know. It just immediately fits with their body. And with some of my students, it's a bit harder for them. They struggle a lot with the posture, and one of those isn't necessarily better than the others. Usually the ones who hold it very easily and they're just immediately used to it, they usually struggle in some areas where those who have worked really hard for their posture don't struggle, and vice versa. So one isn't better than the other, but it will depend from person to person. But at the end of the day, it's just how much practice time are you willing to give it? This next question is really lovely. Favorite experience you've had since pursuing your dream with music? There's a lot. It's been one of the most rewarding things I've ever done. I think definitely top of the list has been the people that I've met because of it. I've met so many wonderful, wonderful people through music that I never would have met if I hadn't pursued this. I've become so close with many people on Instagram and here on YouTube. I've made so many connections, and my life is so much richer for knowing these people. So definitely the people that I've met, and also just what it's done for me personally. Like when I work on a James Horner cover, James Horner is my favorite composer. When I work on a cover of his music and I'm tired and I'm stressed and I'm staying up late and I'm putting just so much work into it, when I finish it, it's just so personally rewarding because James Horner has been such a big role in my life and very much changed who I am as a person and as a musician. So to put that time into it has just been extremely rewarding. It's like I'm giving back in whatever little way that I can. So that's been extremely rewarding. And okay, the other one would have to be just collaborating with people, especially for composers. Like when I play something that someone else has written, that's so special because music tells a story. So when I get to play a part that someone has written for me or for violin or whatever, it's like I get to be a little part in their story. I get to be in their world that they've created, and that's just a magical experience. That's a tough question to answer, but I'm going to leave it at those three. What advice do you have for us who grew up playing instruments but have stopped for a long time and want to get back into it? Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true. Just do it! Some people dream of success. Well, you're gonna wake up and work hard at it. Nothing is impossible. You should get to the point where anyone else would quit. And you're not gonna stop there. No, what are you waiting for? Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Just do it! If you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. All right, next question. Favorite, okay, I'm just kidding. I think this is a really good question and it's probably applicable to a lot of people. Okay, I'll try to give some advice. First off is just think about why you're doing it. So I actually quit for several years when I was younger because I hated playing. And it wasn't until that I had developed a personal love, a genuine love and passion for music that I was able to pick it up again and stick with it. So just think about why you're doing it. And I think if you have an honest, genuine motivation for it, then you'll do it if you think about that. And also, don't be afraid to make a bad sound. You're gonna sound really, really bad probably for a long time. So just don't be afraid of that, just embrace it. In fact, you might even want to start off, just open up your instrument, grab it and think, okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm gonna sound awful and I'm gonna do it on purpose. And really, if you think about it, how are you gonna know how to sound beautiful if you don't know how to sound bad, right? Because you have to know where your boundaries are in order not to trespass. So if you figure out where your boundaries of sounding bad are, then you'll know where not to go and you'll know how to sound better. So just don't be embarrassed, don't be afraid to sound bad. And another thing that I think is really helpful is realizing that there is no such thing as basic technique. It's fundamental technique. So really the basics, review those. Go over them every single day. If you can play your basics well, you can probably play anything else well. So pay very close attention to that and just be very, very careful how you're practicing. You know, one of my favorite things that one of my teachers has told me is when you're learning how to play an instrument, you're not training your hands, you're training your head. So there is a degree of, strength and mobility and stuff that is going to go into your hands, but largely it's going to be what's going on up here. So if you're getting frustrated, don't just muscle through and repeat and repeat and repeat and just wait to get it right. Don't ever do that. Just take a step back, coolly figure it out up here, and then your hands will figure it out. So just be very, very logical, take things slowly, practice your fundamentals, remember why you're doing it, and you'll get there. Favorite genre of music to play? Depressing film scores. And on the flip side, least favorite genre, anything happy. I don't care if it's happy classical music, happy film scores. Generally, I don't like it. I don't like listening to happy stuff. I don't like playing happy stuff. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but it makes me angry. I like my slow, depressing, melodic film scores. Those are where it's at. Best goosebump music movie moment. This is a really fun question, and I would love if y'all commented yours down below as well. Okay, I've got 3 that come to my head first, and I'm gonna rule out anything by James Horner because he's my favorite, so I'd be biased. So excluding anything by James Horner, number 1 is Lord of the Rings, The Lighting of the Beacons, because duh. Number 2 is Master and Commander, when it looks out on that seascape and then Fantasia on a Theme by Thomas Tallis starts playing. I think that is such an amazing use of classical music in a film. Just incredible. That made a really, really big impact on me when I was younger. And then the third one would be in 1917 when it looks out on the burning city and then A Night Window starts playing. Whew! That one's really good. How do you mentally prepare yourself before you start making a music video? Oh my gosh, I've got some thoughts about this one. Okay, what I do to mentally prepare is I don't do anything, because I have learned through almost 2 years of trial and error that any sort of mental preparation that I think I need to do or any preconceived notions that I have of a piece are completely wrong. They're always just so wrong. I learn so much from every single cover that I do. And just as an example, I remember when I first did Oogway Ascends from Kung Fu Panda, that took me so long. I tried to record that piece for weeks and weeks and weeks. And what was going on was when I was trying to record it, I was thinking about the sadness of a death of a mentor. You know, I was trying to put that mentality and that emotion into it, and it just wasn't working. I tried for so long. I tried so hard to record it that way. And it wasn't until I shifted my thinking, instead of thinking about this sadness of a death of a teacher, I had to shift my thinking into it's kind of a celebration of a beautiful life, looking at it that way. So every single piece that I do, I usually learn a great deal about that music, and I have to completely change how I go about it from an emotional storytelling aspect. So I guess I mentally prepare by making sure that I do nothing mentally. I just go into it with a very open mind, and I try to let the music teach me before I go in with any sort of idea what I need to do. So that's what I'm doing. That's currently what I'm doing, and it's taking me a very, very, very long time. A lot of trial and error, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to get here. We'll see if that changes in future. I love this question. Most influential soundtracks of your musical career. And again, I would love for y'all to comment this below as well. Okay, number 1, Braveheart by James Horner. If you take one look at my YouTube channel, you probably don't need me to tell you that. Number 2 would be Lord of the Rings, cause duh. Number 3 would probably be Narnia. Just Lord of the Rings, Narnia, and Harry Potter were such a big part of my life growing up, so all 3 of those played a very, very big role. And then the 4th one, I'm going to tie 2 into 1, and that would be The Village, specifically The Gravel Road, and Last of the Mohicans, specifically The Kiss, because the violin parts in those pieces, I remember just being very, very fascinated by those and hearing them when I was younger, and still just to this day, if I hear either of those pieces, I always just like stop dead in my tracks, and I have to listen to it and give it my full attention. And it's just, I think as a violinist, hearing those pieces from an early age has been very influential on me. Best bro adventures. Okay, for anyone who doesn't know, bro is my beloved Gandalf hat. Easily one of the best purchases I have ever made in my entire life. So best bro adventures, I'd have to say when I went on Instagram and asked y'all to submit names for bro, that was pretty special. Just seeing everyone unify over a common love of this rather magical hat. That was amazing. And then other than that, probably anytime it snowed. There is nothing like wearing a Gandalf hat in the snow. That's pretty special. And I have to say, extremely practical as well. I went for a walk in the snow a little bit ago, and when I got back home, there was like a solid inch of snow on the brim, and it had completely protected my face from it. So it's quite practical as well. All right, we're getting into this spicy and controversial questions here. Pride and Prejudice 1995 or 2005? Absolutely and unequivocally 1995. But I will recognize that the 2005 one is a work of art. It is a beautiful film. I will recognize that. Do you have any hobbies besides music? Yes, I'm a very active person, so I've been doing horseback riding for over 10 years now. I do English dressage. I love working out, weightlifting, and I also do American karate. So I like staying active, and then other than that, I'm a complete grandma. So I like reading books, doing jigsaw puzzles, and going for walks. Alright, to end this Q&A, I have a flurry of questions that I think are quite profound. What are your thoughts on cheese? Any favorite types? Do you prefer melted or solid cheese? As a musician and in the life that I have chosen to live, I feel like I encounter art more than the typical person. I am constantly studying classical music or film music. I'm surrounded by artwork. I read a lot of literature, but I have to say the truest form of artistic expression that I've ever encountered has been in the form of cheese. I'm a big advocate of cheese. Any favorite types? Yes. Anything sharp and white, like a sharp white cheddar, amazing. Gouda, amazing. Ooh, a goat cheese with like cranberries and blueberries, amazing. Do I prefer melted or solid cheese? This one's tough. It depends on my mood because there's nothing more comforting than like a melted cheese and a mac and cheese or something like that. But when you have solid cheese on like a cracker or a piece of bread, it makes me feel like a medieval peasant adventuring in the wilds. So I guess it depends on whether I want to feel like a peasant or not. What do you want to do when you grow up? Eat cheese, primarily. Yeah. Okay, that's entirely true, but I'm assuming that's not what you were going for. Okay. In an ideal world, if I could write out my career to the T, then I would still like to keep teaching violin like I am now. I'd like to keep that as a part of my life. And then other than that, I would like to still keep making covers on YouTube. I would like to produce covers and albums, everything like that. And if I could also be a session musician and record stuff for film and game soundtracks, that would be the dream. So that is what I would like to do when I grow up. And then last question is, who is your patron saint? So for those of you who don't know, I'm Orthodox, and in the Orthodox Church we choose a patron saint to kind of be our guide and intercessor, and mine's quite convenient. It's the same as my birth name, so that's Saint Rebecca from the Old Testament. Alright, that wraps up my first Q&A. Thank you all so much for watching and being just such kind and amazing supporters. It really means a lot to me. I hope you all have a wonderful week, and I'll see you in the next video.
Do it! Just do it! Yes, you can! Do it! Just do it!
I messed up.